Are we live? Oh, cool. So awesome. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Clutter. Welcome to our new space. Welcome, Ron English. How are you this
I'm
evening?
good. What an amazing space. It's big.
It's big. It's big.
I walked by your old gallery just a minute ago, and it was
Like,
like what galleries like. They're all the galleries are in high school.
if you come to Beacon, you'll see it's a little different. There's not so many galleries on Main Street.
If you come to Beacon, think the Hipsterland. Hipsterland, the whole Hipsterland is moved into the high school. It's also called the Cube.
Yes, we are. It's officially called the Cube.
It's Ethan Cohen's high school. And it's got underground clubs and galleries, but everything that we were known for before is all concentrated into this one space.
That's right. And right down the hall from us is Silica Studio, which is an awesome ceramic studio.
If you want ugly candles, go to Main Street. If you want
if you want socks and pens, you can go to Main Street. If you want the weird shit, it's in the Cube. The reason that we wanted to do a podcast, this is kind of a first. We've never done a podcast during a gallery show before, and I thought this would be a really interesting way to approach what's been going on online. Ron has been critiqued online using artificial intelligence, and the way that it came to our consciousness was people started tagging us in your feed on Instagram while you were at our battle this past November. I don't know if you're aware, but people started saying, hey, Clutter Magazine, what do you think about the fact that Ron's using AI? We're just kind of ignoring it. Whatever, trying to like bait us online, and we weren't really giving a shit. And so when you came back and we started out after the holidays, I saw the just intensity with which you're working. We've been friends for
it's because I've taken a little time for painting, but I won't see in a week. Certainly.
Okay, well, we've been there for over some odd years. I can't do math at all.
University.
I know, and I'm being left behind. It's terrible. It's terrible. It's one of my greatest weaknesses. But I know that you cycle your work, and I've seen periods before where you like get really, really deep into something, and then you'll strike gold with an idea, and then some time that will kind of die down, and then more time will pass, and intense and again. And right now, every time I come to your house, you are literally just drawing. You're drawing with a frenzy that I've never seen you draw. You've always been drawing in the background, but like right now, it's like you're just churning out these unbelievable pictures. And you're doing it with an abandon that I've never seen you with, because usually you've been focused on creating characters, really specific, and we've interviewed you a zillion times in the last 15 years. I know that you like to kind of focus on a concept, just to kind of like where the wind blows. You like to sit down and be like, I woke up this morning, I thought of a duck with a brain coming out of its ear, and that's what I'm doing today. But these drawings are much more stream of consciousness, wild. You kind of took me on the journey of like, well, these are actually keyframes for animations that I'm making. And that blew my mind, because I think you're using AI as a tool. And so what you're doing is you're drawing these keyframe illustrations and feeding them into AI and having the computer, artificial intelligence, do the in-between frames of the animation. Which is basically like you've employed your animation, but you're getting such heat. People are just so. We're at some point, there's people out there who are going to hit us up with some questions. But why do you think there's so much heat? Why do you think people are so afraid of what you're doing?
Okay, well, I believe that some people's art is going behind and trolling people. And in a way, I famous politics stuff, so I'm not. I understand. myself as famous enough, but but it's interesting because I've been around a long time in the 70s. If you picked up an airbrush and it became part of your art, it was no longer high art. You mean yourself by using airbrush. So no, it was kind of sad in a way because there was a couple of things that airbrush could do. It could be good, and it was easy, and anybody could do it. But then to take it beyond that, it got really fucking hard. So there's only a very few people that really became like master airbrush. I know this because art stuff. If you touch an airbrush, if an airbrush gets on that painting, then it is no longer high art. It's that bad.
So it's seen as a derogatory tool. Yeah, like a
it just
commercial.
got bad happened with it, which is just a tool. And it was sweet, but airbrush fluid, it's your painting.
Right.
And a lot of people like, oh, we like, they would look at my paintings that were very trendy. They would airbrush and it's oil paint, and suddenly they would think, oh, it was good. So it's the exact same image.
Right.
But now you realize I painted it with oil, and now suddenly it's a great paint. 5 minutes ago, you hated it because you thought it was some airbrush paint. So prejudice did it, and culture. There's something about it.
That's interesting. So you're saying that you see this as just really a tool and it's being prejudged necessarily. But I think there's a societal aspect which people feel like using AI at home is somehow giving into concept that's happening right now. How do you agree with that?
What did you say?
Do you think that using AI at all is a corruption of society?
Tool.
Yeah, because I think that people have like a fundamental issue. Like you're saying, it's a tool.
Yeah,
I don't disagree with what you're saying, but I think that
mean,
people see it as something
their own
much
thing.
darker.
Having a cow. I looked up their artwork, and I can understand if you follow. He's doing the builders, and that was great because he was an outlaw, and he went to jail, and we a new thing, and then they kind of get mad because they want you to keep doing the same thing forever. They were it, like, or that you're taking art history into a bad direction or whatever.
Yeah.
But then you look at their art and think, okay, you're young, over, and you're just taking the head off of a Kermit the Frog. That's the height of what it should be because you're in charge now. You're supposed to me out,
Right.
Right. It's like, God, little kid. So maybe their art form is just wrong. Because it doesn't seem to be great.
I think what I hear you saying is that some of the people who have been coming out
well,
online
I would freak out if Mark Wrighton said, Mark Wrighton uses AI too. He wants to use it. It's just, here's a, it's a thing, Mark, too. My catalog is 60 years worth of art. So, like Disney, 100 years worth of art. They don't build AI. Their own system. They plug in the catalogs for 100 years. That way they're touching outside their catalog, right? Because they don't get sued.
Right.
It might accidentally come with a weird little thing where somebody's going to find a stop sign or something.
Right.
Or whatever. So they kind of have to do it because they're really big. I kind of do the same thing where all the stuff that goes into it is from my catalog. And my catalog has installations. I mean, you probably don't know the whole thing, but I have, again, 60 years worth of art.
Right.
So I'm going to animate and I pull from the catalog. I'm not the guy that permits. I'm not taking it from him.
Right. Right.
And by the way, first, like the sued by us because they did steal our art. What else we're asking is just give us like 0.0% for using our name. Yeah. So they can steal art and people can use my art. And I can use my art too. Although I can get yelled using my own art.
So I hear you talking about appropriation. Are you saying?
But I'm
Yeah.
talking
Okay.
about that I'm bringing to life my catalog.
Right. I mean, I clearly
I'm
see that. I clearly see that.
I'm doing these 3-minute videos. I'm making them. I'm working with different people to make the music. Very traditional.
Right.
I'm making music right down the hall at
Right.
Buffalo Stack currently.
What's up, Buffalo?
But I'm building off, catalog. One video for a year, and it's still just better. You can do the exact same thing. We can,
Oh, I completely
because
understand.
I
Yeah.
got all the models. We made 3Ds of them. I can start animating. I can just keep working with this guy and paying him, because we got employed people. But I can't. It just takes. If somebody gives you that, maybe you're not going to take your skate. I don't know.
So I've seen you over the years be really willing to embrace new technology faster than people who are half your age. And I think you have.
When you're my age, I'm a master loyal. And boys, if we're going to go to something else, that behind. It took me and now we're on to another thing, and everybody doesn't give a fuck. Yeah, and a lot of people want to adapt.
I don't think people don't give a fuck about painting, but I think that you have a really plastic mind. I think that you have a really flexible mind. I think people that you have been able to adjust technologies back to 2021 or so and talk about the dawn of NFTs, you were like right there. A lot of people had issue with you were on it. How are you able to so easily jump on a technology kind of and not easily where you literally with these people who are again half your age, totally in a twist about AI, and you're just saying like, oh, I'm going to do this. How do you keep it so fast?
Happened very quickly. It was so behind it.
Yeah.
And so because when a platform said we're going to put you in summer, this is spring, and I said it's going to be over with this summer, man. And like, oh, well, we actually have 3 weeks. If you can figure out how to make NFT in 3 weeks, you can take that slot. So we took that slot. And it was huge because we were still part of the wave.
Right.
The next one I did was with Slash.
Yeah.
Which should have done really well, but of course that came out in August, and guess what? In August it was
right.
But nobody knew what was happening, so we thought, well, let's try this. Let's give it a try. And then we did like
yeah,
and that was different because then we kind of because we ran on ourselves. If you or any of these,
right?
That's our platform, so we get to do it our way. Wouldn't it? Make choice on my platform. If I pay for them. Thousand or whatever made.
Yeah.
So we'll do burns. Go in my and we'll make sculptures or we'll do something every 2 months. But if you think the feed is bullshit, I didn't know bullshit or not. You didn't either. So no, I'm not saying you.
But I guess my real but my question is
let me finish the story of this.
Okay.
How we kind of ended on this thing. So now everybody just pre-bought a handmade toy, price of what it's worth, or a third of the worth. So
right.
We gave all the fans a really good deal, and that was very important. But we kind of went on the right track and said, if it doesn't, we could.
Right.
Because
that was soulful.
I'm not here to rip people off.
Right.
I'm here to make great things for people and make. It worked out. We wanted to work out. Then there was the other issue, which was an important issue because NFTs. I mean, remember sitting in your backyard? Tara McPherson, she was shaking. Her fans were just like they were equal to her.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's like we have any. So maybe they're scared of me. But yeah, or maybe just didn't pay attention to it. But problem got solved. We went to Vivi. They were eating up a level of electricity. Problem solve the problem because, you know, we're like, we can't do this anymore if you don't solve the problem. They solve the problem. Yeah, nothing to make their problem in a few, but their digital collectibles
Sure.
cost nothing to make them.
What was the
Then we
issue
go
with
to-
what was the issue that was
Well,
giving
because
Carl
they
the
covered up a billion fucking computers
Oh.
for one toy.
right?
Oh, it's secure because, you know, like thousands of computers choose this thing. And then they just reduce the amount of computers. And so it's nothing.
Right.
And then they just think, well, it doesn't it's digital. But I mean, and they're a little obsessed. They're like, so like it's amazing. You meet them, you get to meet them. There's community around it, and it's really, and there's a little obsessive collecting, and it's secure, you know. But it's interesting because, again, we solved that problem. So now people are so mad, not wrong about, yeah, it's systems gobbling up electricity right now. What's going to happen? Well, how do you think the problem's going to get solved? It's probably going to get solved by AI. AI is going to be the fucking smartest thing in the world. It's all the science put together at once. And it can solve relative, you know? There's a way, otherwise we just off ramp and do it.
So you're not hung up on it. I think that while you're successful,
We're building,
you're not
we're
worried.
building giant brain. Yeah, people are kind of scary motherfuckers, but that's just the deal. But we can solve problems so quickly. Everybody's amazing. We're building this giant mind. It's our mind. It's collective human mind. And right now we can still access it. You know?
So the people who are upset with you, they should driving a conversation more about, let's say, universal basic income than whether or not you're using a tool as an animation studio.
Yeah, I think that it's nice to criticize and keep a conversation. I think it's not a real ask. You have to remember, I'm in a community with you, and we're building it. You're weakening the community by attacking. I'm here to help you. You know what? I'm not putting it. I get a huge opportunity. I think it would be perfect. Guess what? Just because I'm a human, I feel that. Guess what? You don't do that. Why wasn't I successful? You weren't successful because you were an asshole. And nobody wants to be around you. Why don't you just try to be a nice fucking person? Get invited and great shit.
Yeah.
All the super successful people, you know, they're so fun to be around.
Right. So, Miranda, do we have questions on the internet? Someone says Ron's the best. Do we have any?
I'm on the show.
Yeah. Do we have any? Thanks, Monday. Do we have any concerns of yours?
No,
Oh, really? Where's our? So, what was funny is, I just want everyone on the internet to know, if you're watching this, Ron was ready to come to the playground and get messy with you all. So that's okay. Well, I just want you to know that, you know, if anybody wanted to get into the playground with Ron, like he was ready, we're here. Okay, here's one. Are you saying that you believe? So this is from Bernard Shaw. Glad you're here. Isn't he dead? Wait. So well. So he says, wait. Are you saying that you believe that AI will solve the electricity problem that it is currently creating? You also just said AI is going to save. We don't have that ready right now. AI might solve that problem for us.
China's not the, you know, like they're better, but they can yeah. Yeah. Whatever you think about it, they're problems, and I know that rough over there, and I got really polluted, but they're doing really good, and Civil War, so I don't know.
Okay.
Is anybody worried about like some of these other things that are going on, or
I mean,
is a guy with a spray paint can the stupid?
I commend what you're doing because I think
No,
that
but
you're.
when we did the spray paint thing,
Yeah.
you know, well, they said, well, you're just destroying the planet with the spray paint cans. And you're standing there spray painting, look at these giant smokestacks doing smoke, thinking, oh, it's good for the environment to use a spray. Like if you took all kids together spray painting, and then that one smoke kills itself.
Yeah.
But we can't get mad at them because jobs. You know, they PCs and that's chill because they make jobs, or I don't know. I think they're too big. Like, okay, here's a weird thing, just to go off subject for a minute. You know, remember Hunter Biden? That's laptop. And I think people like to make pics of it. But
I think he was
but he
blowing
was trying
paint.
to get, yeah, he was trying to get, I think, what was it, like $180,000 for he got for the Ukrainians to
Oh yeah.
to get to an audience with his dad. Which that amount of money, if you really that doesn't even get you a rope. It gets you nothing.
Yeah.
Handshake with a photo, that you don't even get that. Meanwhile, Trump took sons. What did he still say state secrets? Wait a minute. What? What the fuck?
Yeah, right.
I think we got it. I think that's because people don't know what dollars is. I think it's across the brain. I know how much $150,000 is. Maybe I don't have $150,000, but I got a cousin. You know, he's got a speedboat. I mean, I kind of have a concept of how much money that is.
Right.
$1 billion.
You said something to me that was interesting the other day.
Now he's suing us for like $80 billion now, or I mean, he's just gonna fucking rape us.
Who's he suing?
The American people,
Is he suing
the taxpayers. Yeah.
You said
That's
something,
chill.
you said something to me the other day about that people who are worried about your work with AI should really be more concerned about the totalitarian government.
I think it's not my if I'm making. That's why I a little bit with the show, showing what I'm, you know, I'm keyframe and everything. My art animates it a little quicker and easier. Because before we were just releasing songs that if you listen, that's a lot of people do on YouTube. It's just an album cover, like moving around a little bit. And I thought, wouldn't it be nicer if, like, you know, I'm supposed to be an artist, like, let's give some visuals, you know?
Is there an extent when you feed the your keyframes into AI? Which program are you using?
I use a bunch of programs.
A bunch of programs. Okay, so you're feeding it into AI. How much information is coming back out at you that's accidental, and to what extent does the accident coming out of AI inspire you to alter what you're doing?
Very, very little accident. Very purposeful in the way I talk to it. It can't do a lot of things because
right.
So it's something actually original, which original. You did. People don't really. They think they do. There's a couple things that do that out there. It really has a hard time with them. Sit there for 8 hours. It's like my
right. Your art.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but
does anything interesting?
It's better, and it'll be able to retain my characters, and I think it'll probably happen in a week, and then it'll be because I can just.
Does anything accidental come out of AI that interests you?
Yeah, I'm purposeful. So
okay.
I don't really play around with it that way. I can if you just through it.
Is there any extent to which you think that other people's art has entered your art because of the way AI combs everyone's?
Right. Yeah, no, but I think okay. Here's what I think. I watch YouTube while I'm drawing. Right, I'm drawing, and I put something out. It's really the slop. And slop is just this weird, mindless shit. And it's kind of, sometimes interesting because it's just a, so I do in the morning, but just a person, right? So, so what do I do? It's like, I say, what's trending? Tell me what's trending. I take what's trending, write a nice story about that, and then the story for you. Completely mindless. It's because it's not good yet. And then it adds a bunch of visuals that are not related.
Right.
And then it makes this, but it goes straight to the top of the algorithm because you also told it to make a title card or thumbnail that trend that would have something, what do I do now? But it knows exactly what to do. I can't be specific in art. I can't do that. So it'll beat me because, and it's just nothing. It's just this weird nothing. And I can make the day, watch the shit I do. And it's clogging up the whole system. And you don't get to see a lot of people that really do it. You don't get to see a lot of Mark writings like that because it's all, the system is clogged with junk.
Can you throw that comment? So Emilio Knutz says, no version of AI ethical or environmentally friendly. No point will change that. And but he gives you some respect. He says, "Call you Godfather."
Okay. But no, that's not true. Disney will have their own AI. They'll only load it with their own catalog. I will have my own. I will only load it with my own. I think that if Vivi was able to solve the NFT problem, that small company, then I think that we can solve this problem. But no, he's correct.
So you disagree that it's that there's
like
no version that's
it's like I don't drive anywhere to go to work, so I'm suddenly driving to work again. So I'm more stressing the environment by doing this. But the problem will get solved. I swear to God, if we can solve the problem, what can be solved? It may be that you'd be able to get your own version. It's the stuff you feed in. So you just feed in your 50 years worth of stuff. Maybe it's frames of houses.
Right. Are you at all concerned that AI will pull your stuff? But you said you've sued.
No, of course. And yeah, it is also now that I'm on public, I'm teaching it how to make. But they can't really use it commercially. I can sue them, so they can use
right.
They can't use slow, but make slow at some point because I'll teach them how to make it, and they'll know how to make it. So that'll exist. So that means I don't need to buy it from them. I can make it. People they just buy the art magazine, and I don't know. It's not that different,
I mean, I think a compelling case. Does anyone in our illustrious crowd here have any questions or anything they'd like to chime in with? Yes, we can.
People have access to understand the way it works. So still needs way back. You can say sue somebody if you're using your image. Yours will like.
No, it's not that. No, it's like it's copyright care. So if you put a T-shirt site, that's somebody's going to start your grant. A little easier to copy it, but you can still just take it out of a magazine or take it on the street. So it's not that different. People do like steal like that, but so commercially you can't use it. But if you just among your friends you use it as a meme or something, yeah, it's it's a lot like tattoos. Imagine if everybody paid a little royalty to me for their tattoo jobs. That'd be cool. Yeah. I wouldn't have to ride a bicycle in the snow here. I would have had a car.
Yes. English.
Does it bother me if I'm influenced by or artist?
Yeah, like right. I think that's a big
Oh.
question. Is like, do you?
Okay,
'Cause
well,
so-
I'm old now, so I see like
Godfather.
I see on the other side, and it's something that I never thought about as being a young person. I didn't think that I would make things and then a lot of people would copy me. Did not occur to me. But
Okay.
now at the other end, yeah. And one of the most interesting one was some guy just was flat out copying me.
Mhm.
You know, capable anyway.
Okay.
Okay, but no, we used to
Okay.
go do tours. And do some, it was a really good a gallery and artists English, and there was a Mark Lane, Chad.
Right.
It was less,
Right.
you know? So
Right.
they saw it in the Juxtaposed magazine, they painted it, and it's really, and they were like things they're down because the world wasn't that connected.
But
But anyway, back to my
but the point is,
Yeah.
no, but it is if AI is unethical. Not saying it is, but if it were unethical, do you take responsibility for helping you lead me down that route? Is that kind of the nature of your question?
Well, no, she wants to know like no, but
That's why we're having this conversation publicly and not just in your house.
Yeah, that's all. I think they do it soon. The guy made up Homer Simpson. He's gonna. But people know I didn't make it. I'm not pretending I made it. And I think that's also with my work. Sometimes people make another kind of representation of it as a reference, but they know that people know that's where they got it.
And does that bother you that people
No,
use your work?
no, but I like the guy I'm from Decatur, Illinois,
Okay,
very
right.
small town. And then he was kind of really by my work, you know. But then I met him in person. He sat with me for like 6 hours for a signing. We did a long signing in Arizona. You know,
Yeah.
I talked to him. I'm like, you know, it's got to come up with your own shit, you know.
Right.
And he listened to me. He hit a few hits, you know. So,
Right.
but he used to like, you got to try things. He did that.
So AI is not stopping people. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Trying to incorporate AI. Whoever the listener is, the person sending it is contact. What would you say now?
Well, you know, you're asking that's a. Did you do us a super big? Come here, just do it into the microphone, so I don't have to repeat it.
No, I'll repeat it. I'll
You
repeat it.
repeat it. Okay, sorry,
Yeah.
sorry. We'll finish. Sorry,
The-
sorry.
the-
It was just like, oh my gosh.
Can you speak to the fact that there's just, thousands of things that are integrating AI?
How do you, so Ron, how do you feel about the fact that AI is not just being used by you as an artist, but also being used by businesses across the board?
Yeah.
Is that kind of the?
No. What again? What am I supposed to?
How do you feel about? Right. Yeah.
I got to see one of his in Asia, and the street fills up with people waiting to see the billboard do the. So every hour perform to but I got for hours, and since he's more scientific, and so he steals music, he steals art. Because why? It's mindset, you know. And so, like, what am I supposed to do about that? You know, I don't know. I don't think that. I don't know. If only photographers had cameras, then I would have to hire a photographer. I want a picture of my family, but I can take one with my phone. So, you know, what are you supposed to do about it? You understand what I'm saying?
I'm 100% with you.
And-
Yeah, but I don't. there's some things that we're not stop.
I also just wanted to kind of jump in and say, as Clutter, we've been called out as guilty by association with you. And so I just wanted to say that our perspective is we get really annoyed, upset when we see artists using AI to pretend to make art. When we see people saying, look at this thing that I made, but really it was just generated by AI. And we can see that it's clearly not an original idea. And then we go like, oh my God, this is awful.
It's lip syncing.
Yeah, it's terrible. So we don't support
But,
AI
I got
being
because
used.
this is we went to a high school.
Fight.
We went to high school in Jersey to see the talent show because we were putting it on, and all the kids got up and lip sync songs. That was a talent show. It was really bizarre.
Take that.
Sorry.
No, so that's our perspective is we see it as a tool, and Miranda and I have had many moments where we've gone through AI and then things have come back that we didn't expect, and we've laughed our asses off for hours just at AI misinterpreting us as people and as artists, and had a good laugh from it and been inspired by it. But at the same time, we don't support artists selling art that isn't their own art. So, the reason that we want to do this and the reason we want to so publicly support you is we see you use the way it should be used. And we are aware of other artists like yourself and people that you're friends with. I'm not going to name anybody on this stream, but we want to do the iterate. Are you? You are.
Yeah,
We're much smaller. I'm punching up. I'm punching up. Yes, I know. I'm nothing, and you are the Godfather. That's clear. No. Yes, please.
So how do you feel about artists like Andrew Paul, who
Okay.
does, like his Instagram based, but he makes you question whether his art is AI?
I get so frustrated by that because it plays into a like we're we also make stuff. And when I see people saying, "Look at this thing that I made," that's like a 20-foot tall, insane, a beautiful. A lot of what Anchorball puts out is gorgeous and like blows my mind. It's like that's not real. Nobody could afford that. Nobody's gonna fund it. And if you could never sell 50 of them to afford to be the first one. So it annoys
It's really good.
I get frustrated by it. It irks me because it's not real.
It's like a sketch where like you're a young artist would draw like what if I got I could do this, I could do this. That's vicious. Yeah, I know, but I also think that it's kind of like so like if somebody said, you know what, I want that, well, now I need 200,000, we can make it, I don't know. But young people are gonna,
I don't disagree that it's inspiring, but I often don't relate to it. It's a really good. No, it's a really good question because
Like when I first saw Anchorball,
Yeah.
I was like, real?
exactly.
Like, did he actually have an installation?
Or yeah,
And
someone
now-
sent it to me. Someone sent it to me like, check this thing out,
Yeah.
and I was like, no one actually made that.
It's also like Ron had done something like that. He does make a large sculpture and people question if that's real, and then it's actually real. That's so get mad. Anyway.
This is actually real. Oh, sorry. You're next. Next, Frank. I'm sorry.
Don't understand people's problems because you pick up the things, AI is doing it. And what you're doing with use AI for your video, right? But so you are the director of the video because it's all your ideas, it's exactly.
okay, so
why
yeah.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, I do have a friend, a very famous actress, and her father-in-law is a painter. Not very successful, so she feels like his pain of not being very successful. So she fucking can't stand motherfuckers that use assistants in paint. Oh,
Oh boy.
don't talk about that. You know?
Let's talk about Kostabi.
But I mean,
Can we talk about Kostabi?
no,
Like,
but
do people even remember Kostabi?
let's stay on this famous actress.
Okay. Okay.
No, but I'm like, she exists in a collaborative system. She doesn't. She does her part. Somebody else write the part, honey. No. Direct it. No. Do the sets. No. I think she's defensive about the successful nature of her mom. So glad present. I'm not going to present, but what was your question? Okay, well, this guy, the guy that asked the question is Michael D'Antoine. He's a political artist who uses paints pictures to put statements, and he should just use Photoshop to make. He can get them out faster. He can message quicker. I've had a lot of discussions with him about this. A lot of his fans know that he paints them. I think they appreciate. They feel like that you really meant this. This isn't just a bit. Like you have a fucking. Do you really feel this idea? Because you work so hard at it and you put so much into it. You probably know what you're doing. So maybe I believe it. I feel like you're a little more sincere and I can listen to what you're saying. So
Because you made it by hand.
Big work into. If you just got to do Photoshop every day.
It's actually nice. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so
Disney basically sues everybody, they stop. So when you have a Pooh Bear on the island, they did open AI to allow, anyone to use graphics. They will come coach you to do something to use your stuff with your consent. Would you be open to something?
you want to repeat the question?
Would you be open
There's only one
to?
person online. We don't really need.
No, that's okay.
Would you be open to allowing like open AI to allow other creators to use your character content, not to run, but just to make their own videos?
He asked me if I would allow my OpenAI to use my characters.
Yes.
Well, I imagine they're going to steal them anyway.
But with your consent.
With my consent, they're making money, then I better
Yeah,
be making money too. Huh?
So even if you have people that use this character campaign, they're allowed to be used, whereas only they're allowed to use it.
If we're doing something for free, we're doing it for free. If you're making money and I'm not.
Technology person works with. Check. I mean, tech comes out every who's come out in the industry. Get what you that you're going to use it for, and that product. Watch your get what it is. It was going to kind of then it comes out social media. That's a great example. But I think the challenges here is that everything you're saying. It's really glad you're doing this because you said some really great things tonight. But I think the challenge is we also have to be very open that as we go forward, new generations come at this from different perspectives, that there are different types of art. That let's say one generation may not see as art, but we have to understand that that's their perspective. It's kids today. They're using phones and communications very differently. As old people might. It's the same. We don't see them. We say, "Oh, we should do this," but they're I think it's important as we move forward into the fact that these are tools they have to be used accurately, but at the same time, are going to be things that matter, are going to be kind of and they start doing things that they're not doing things we really like, but that's just the nature of technology.
Yeah, and also these kids that decide to be creatives understand their own because they're the same age, they've had the same experiences. They're making art for their generation. And yeah, maybe they're not going to understand it. Maybe they're not going to understand us so much. But yeah, it's like you really want to be the grouchy old man like kids these days.
I was just going to
I
say,
do,
if there's a
I
new,
imagine you don't.
no, I was just going to say, if there's a new wave of art, I know that Ron will be one of the early adopters. Exactly.
We know it's an interesting question to think about what Ron thinks about how we digitally demonize it as the end.
But they're demonizing it, and maybe they're not. At the same time, that they're using it, trying to build. Like, it's gonna solve a lot of things. Fuck off! It's gonna end the world. Like you.
No, but I think in Japan specifically, because animation is such a big thing, losing
Well,
job.
Yeah. A lot of people are gonna lose jobs. Yeah.
So I used to own an animation studio. The thing that I think is incredible about the way Ron's using AI is it kind of flattens. This is what we were just talking about with Anchor Ball. My frustration as a working artist is looking at something going like, who's ever going to pay for that? And so the thing that's amazing about being able to use AI as an animation studio is actually making things that would never get made otherwise. No one's going to put money up to make half of these animations because they're not monetizable. They're not relatable. It's just an idea. And so the fact that as an artist, you could sit down and actually make something, animate something, and then first run it through a network executive and get approval to do it. Totally amazing. Like, totally amazing.
Example.
Right, right,
An example.
right. But the fact that there's like a free animation studio sitting out there in your computer waiting to actually animate your ideas, it's pretty amazing, pretty awesome.
It's like promoting anti-immigration, things like that. That's
Sure,
I
of
don't
course.
see how that.
they did it. These
I wasn't aware of that.
them arrested
Right.
where they stopped, which is disgusting.
Well, Miranda, you want to say something?
Like in the
She's saying.
people trying to use now almost looking like that. But you can with these goals and because I've done about a lot of
And programmers have wrote the code that's put them out of work, which is
Yeah,
really
yeah,
why it
okay.
comes back to universal basic income, not about
Yeah,
whether or not to make
that's-
art.
That's exactly if because the promise of industrialization. Because I used to collect the old Forbes magazines, and man, I don't know if they believe it or not, but they said we're going to work 2 to 3 days a week to maintain the system, and then you know what we're doing? We're going fishing, we're playing guitar, we're hanging out with our kids. I mean, it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be paradise. I mean, this is only working 3 jobs. But so the dream is happening again. Work. Well, that's either fucking broke. That's the greatest thing ever. Did you ever really want that job? It's willing to do it, you know. I don't want to make it. Yes, get them out. We freeze a lot. These crazy pitches and stuff very quickly, and then now I have room to do more experimental stuff or be more.
I mean, the crazy thing about it too is I'm watching you work harder than I've seen you work in. You know, I know you're always working, but you are like feverish strong.
Oh, drawing. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah. So it's not like AI has slowed you down or made you like take a step back and go, oh, I don't have to work as hard.
It doesn't do what you tell it to do. You have to fight it and you have to figure out how to make it. You're talking to the computer and you have to talk to it. So it's just like idiot, you know.
obviously, the way we're moving is very kind of one of the things we talk about. So, the idea. People who are intentionally making it bug up. Wherever. Can you speak to that? I mean, for me, I think that.
Well, yeah, the first thing that, one of the very first AI that was really made people with 10 fingers, people melting together and stuff, that's what my dreams are like. But maybe, I've always wondered, is that what your dreams are like? Do things just morph into one to the other, and you're on the railroad tracks, and now you're in a bathtub, and how'd that happen? And no, wait, now there's this giant fish that maybe got into it. It just, is that what your dreams are like? Or because AI is what my dreams are like? Okay. Yeah, I wish. I'll ask you that. Like, what are your dreams like? Are they black?
Oh yeah, I mean, I think that the accident coming out of AI is what reminds me of psychedelic experiences and my mind wandering and all the things that I wish I could create. It doesn't aspects of it don't bother me. Again, I don't like AI when it feels robotic or soulless, but when it does something random and strange, it inspires me as much as anything else that we can.
No, but I like the I think you say that's what my dreams look like, because I'm one of, what do your dreams look like?
Dreams like your
That's what I mean. I don't know what your dreams look like. I don't know what colors you see. I just figured out that my sister colors is. Oh, that's
We should talk about that.
What is that different between like, say, an apple and,
But there's some people that can't see an apple in them. They can't form it. Either that or they're lying. Because people also do lie.
Yes. Okay, it's okay. That's okay. So you're saying that this feels like it's a time warp because this was the same thing that came up around video art, right? He died? I mean, I think that for people, AI represents something that has nothing to do with this conversation. The ethical side of it, society, that's the thing that's bothering people. And, well, and that was revolutionary. And Duchamp, with a urinal, like, the ready-made. I think that, but those were I think that's the right context to AI in, because as an artist, so very, very good of ours, again, I don't want to call out, he taught his version of AI to sculpt the way he sculpts and had it iterate in his style. And so rather than him drawing 1,000 different variations of his style, then he went and said, "Oh, that's a good one, and that's a good one, that's a good one, that's a good one." I think that's a great use of it as a tool. And I think that different than sending off like calling someone over the phone and saying, "Hey, paint me a picture, flower," and then seeing the picture that they paint, right, or seeing the flower they paint, and then being inspired by their translation of your work,
But
which is like,
to circle back to Duchamp. Duchamp, his father gave him free money, so he never had to work. Now we're talking about getting rid of work. So maybe we can fucking turn toilets upside down and go, because we don't have to pay flowers for some rich or whatever. All that she thinks she can understand the guys, and we can they have to work toilets upside down.
all right.
Yeah, that was
So that's about an hour.
Free beer over there?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
A producer slash because we do so much work on your own. Myself, our musician, eventually we will have another set of ideas. Do you think AI maybe assists you with that a little bit?
Is AI a writer?
I think it would be great. And I don't know. You work at your apartment, have other people come in, and sometimes I get people now, since the pandemic, everybody does stuff in their own studio and just sends it over. It's not hard. But everybody's not in a room together. But I mean, you could get up every morning, and before you go to, you have a band. You know, if you're about to go have a writing session, you could start fooling around with ideas. And now you have a co-writer. You know, maybe you can kick around some ideas with that guy. The guys are asleep, and get there, like, that's ideas. You know, develop it into what you want it to be, right?
Yeah. When I started AI, use AI.
Yeah, and instead of like messing around in the morning with, you know, one musician, you know, it's every musician that ever existed. So, when you're young, you can go back and sample. Yeah, sampling. Yeah, exactly. He's reading the poster. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And he did the Chuck Berry. It was a Chuck Berry song. And he starts off and then he just goes off into some other thing. You know? Yeah.
Awesome.
As long as you acknowledge it's Chuck Berry.
Alex.
Are you trying to
Well, you have to have a physical to make this or whatever, or as we stand now. But no, they like a physical object still. But I think it's well, I think Julian's novel, the guy that came out in the early '80s and smashed the plates and made very thick, massive, aggressive kind of things. They weren't paintings even; they were like half sculptures. I think they're going to try to survive the market, and this is only my guess, that they'll make more physicality in their paintings, so they feel that human kind of thing. I believe this evolved the illustrator.
Well, this was
You can use your
Thank you.
printers.
Yeah.
Saw it in half
Yeah.
and put it on the. Insane. You have a place you could work and then do the old school.
We're gonna
dance.
solve-
You decide smoke a cigarette. And they didn't know what it's going to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yeah, they just start going for it. You can do that.
Well, I'm always impressed by what you create. And the drawings that you've been making are really beautiful, and I think
you
you're.
took to the drawing, so
I've really-
even did a show of
So thank you.
it. You can buy them.
You can buy them. Yes. All right, everybody. Thank you, everyone that's here. Thank you, Ron. I'm gonna put on the screen. Thank you out there on the internet. And we'll be back. So we're gonna do this again. We're gonna do this again. This is the first of drawing. See you again. Thanks, everybody.